Let's go Knicks. Knicks gonna win the whole damn thing.
Football is live. Welcome everybody to episode 138. We are back after a 1-week break. I am Nad Mahmoudis. Great to be here alongside, as always, my two fabulous co-hosts, Ethan Cooney.
Hello, how's it going, everybody?
And Matt Powell.
Hello, hello.
And it's been a little bit since we've had all three hosts the last couple of shows. With,
feels good. Feels good to be back.
Nat or Matt, Nat Ethan, Nat and Nandan and Matt. And all together, we got a lot to get into. A lot has happened in the time that since we last talked. We're going to get into all of it. We have to start with something that has never happened in MLS before. The New York Red Bulls beat someone 7-0. Never happened ever before. Matt, what was your reaction to seeing this scoreline, which has never happened ever before?
Well, I know you're kidding. I know we're having some fun with this, but the
I don't know what you're talking about.
The truth of the matter is that they did this against the Galaxy, and I eventually will head towards a story in that direction. But this was a old-fashioned beatdown. Nashville beat Chicago 7-2 earlier, and then the Red Bulls beat LA Galaxy 7-0, and it's like, where are these? I mean, the MLS is like in a weird spot with like these like home away differentials, and like the Red Bulls are not even a good team. Chicago Fire not even a bad team. It's just what's going on. I think Ned, is that the FA Cup?
This is embarrassing.
Did he just score?
No, this is embarrassing. No, this is embarrassing. Jamie guys just told me that this scoreline actually has happened before. And the Red Bulls actually have scored 7 goals on someone before.
I thought you had the FA Cup on. You had me going.
Oh, I didn't even know that the FA Cup was happening now.
Is that it's City Crystal Palace? That's the FA Cup, or is that just a league game?
Yeah, it's the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Nah, we didn't win an Evie for acting. That's not fair for you to do that to us. To me.
No, but that is how you get one of these. Bang.
Ooh. Man, why didn't you tell
me? It has my name on it. Oh, wait, that's my last name on it. I'm going to put that away. Oh, wait, we say our last names.
Yeah. You're like, can't let them know that.
I'm not anonymous.
Yeah. I like to think if it was just your last name, like professionally, like you're like Prince, you're just Powell.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
But so the Galaxy have still yet to win a game after winning MLS Cup. And so they lose 7-0 to the Red Bulls. They lose to SKC, who did not attempt a single shot. Not the first own goal for the Galaxy. The whole stats of this game are so wild. And to add all of this, the news comes out yesterday. Greg Vanney contract extension. MLS, even the admin is clowning on the Galaxy.
The caption's so funny.
It
says doubling down at the official MLS post.
with like the handshake emoji, and just absolutely unreal. There's been lots of talk about like how long do you wait? How long should the Galaxy wait? Because this is the worst start for an MLS team ever. How long should they wait before they fire their coach?
Not extend.
And in the middle of that, they're hiring him. Matt, what's your thoughts when you saw this news? You were pretty outraged.
I mean, you have an MLS winning coach, and I understand that it's important to fight the impulse to fire a coach in every situation because the coach is the easiest person to scapegoat. Oftentimes it's about the team that's built, the culture of the locker room in the moment, the 2 or 3 month stretch of games that is like informing this decision. It can be a result of a million different factors. And the easiest thing to do is fire the coach. And I think it's very, very important to fight the impulse to fire the coach. And with all of that said, you do not have to extend him. No one made you extend him. Very simply, he's under contract. You can wait to make the decision to fire him. You can wait to make the decision to extend him, but you do not need to be a historically bad team and extend your coach. I don't get it at all. I do not know what factors inform this decision in the slightest. I am pro being cautious about firing coaches. I am anti whatever this is because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think the majority of people are actually, while people are talking about this a lot, like, should he be fired? I think the majority of people are saying that, no, you don't fire him because they just won MLS Cup and they have all their DPs are injured. Ricky
is maybe the best
their entire
player
team
in the entire
league. He's
league.
Injured. So like most people are saying like, and they just won a trophy. So most people are like, you can't fire him yet. That being said, no one saw this announcement coming now. This this just makes people talk about this even more. Yeah. And it's like there's literally no benefit to doing this now. If you do it, like you're gonna be able to talk to him at the end of the season or anytime later. Like doing this now, like now if they do, the longer they continue to be bad, the worse and worse this is going to look. Ethan, what's your takeaway?
It makes no sense to me.
We got to say that again.
Our first listener,
Greg Vanney.
Right,
our first fan.
Yeah, it's true.
We go. What does he need to hear?
Look, Greg. No, I really don't know. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. I've seen a couple people online suggest that maybe this, like, maybe all the contracts were signed like months ago and they were waiting for the right time to announce it. I guess that's a possibility. Yeah, it's not really
wait
the
for
right
him to
time.
win a game. Wait for one win.
Mm-hmm.
Although that would also that would kind of be equally hilarious.
Yeah.
No, this just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if they fired Vanney, I would have been like, that's kind of stupid. Like, it doesn't really make sense to fire the coach who resurged your team and brought you back to greatness over one bad season. Admittedly, it is a horrifically bad season. It is historically literally the worst season. So I understand. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. Why would you extend his contract?
Well, the other thing is,
not firing him, but
yeah. Well, like some other people will say, like, oh, the coach isn't actually on the field, so there's this. Like, it's like how much can he really be to blame if he's putting out his best team every week? But also, like, his time in as the Galaxy head coach, he has had more bad seasons than he has had good seasons. Last
Yeah,
season
that's
was
true.
the only really good season with the Galaxy. Before that, he was he was after Zlatan, so he was even, and that was like the last time they were like a little bit relevant. They have not been relevant at all before that, since Zlatan and where they are now. All the games they had Chicharito, they were terrible. They were, maybe they would score a goal. Chicharito would do anything, but that was a really, really dark time for the Galaxy. And then they win MLS Cup, and it's like, oh my God, the Galaxy are back. And they are right back to being crap. I'll take it. This being said, let's make Game of the Week predictions right now here at the top of the show, because it has to be, the Game of the Week has to be the craziest of all MLS matchups, El Tráfico. Usually when El Tráfico is happening, I root for the LA Galaxy because I hate LAFC so much. And it's not really like I'm really rooting for the Galaxy. It's just
You're rooting against
like,
LAFC.
I hate these teams. But just like when I'm watching this game, my brain tells me to root for the team in white. So that being said,
you might want to examine that one.
I'm not rooting for them this time. I'm not rooting for them. I really want their streak to continue. This is the only time
It is funny.
ever root for LAFC.
Wow.
Every time they don't win a game.
Best case scenario would be 5-5 tie, because there's always a lot of goals in El Tráfico. Also, and that would be crazy. It's not going to be a good game of soccer. This is the thing about El Tráfico. They are not good games of soccer. They are absolutely insane games of soccer, but they're not good soccer games. 5-5 tie, 6 red cards. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm picking. That being that, that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. I cannot pick a tie this round. I have to pick LAFC to win. Matt, what's your thought on this El Tráfico, where the current teams are?
Yeah, I mean, I'll pick LAFC. LA Galaxy are currently, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, not just the coach, but they're currently on the worst or the longest winless streak to start a season of all time.
The Galaxy are the home team also.
Every game they do not win, they etch their names, more significantly into the history books, and it's less likely that record is broken anytime soon. So it's really funny that if they continue to lose and they just have like a record that you do not want, but it's just almost at this point like forever etched into your club, because in a salary capped league, like 13 games without a win is bad. Like in non-salary capped leagues where there's like superpowers and you can be like a small fish in a huge pond, like I get it. In a league like this, no, you can't lose that many games, or not even lose. You can't not win that many games. I'll pick LAFC.
Ethan, what about you? What's your pick?
Look, are LAFC gonna win? Yeah, probably. But I love a narrative. What better team is there for LA Galaxy to break their winless streak than their biggest rivals? So I'm going to go with the Galaxy.
How big of a failure is it for LAFC if they lose this game?
It would almost make it worse.
Yeah.
It would almost be worse than the Galaxy's entire season so far, I think, if LAFC were to lose to the Galaxy.
Honestly, one of the funniest scenarios is if the Galaxy beat LAFC and then lose like their next 5 games. Like that's probably
you think they're turning the tide, and then it's just them. It's like,
El Tráfico is just in outlier,
Yeah.
that would honestly be incredible. Any other thoughts about El Tráfico? Do we think it changes anything with this game being at Dignity Health Sporting Park, or is LAFC is it going to be fine? Like LAFC is
I mean,
very happy playing there.
Are the Galaxy fans gonna like protest this game and like not show up? It's just gonna be an LAFC.
Wow.
Why would they protest this game? Just because?
Because they suck and they extended Vanney.
I know
the club has a history of it. I feel like if that was happening, we would have heard about it. But like,
I think you show up for, like still protesting. While it's a stupid move, it's a terrible move. I think protesting this is ridiculous at this stage still, since they did still win MLS Cup. I think anyway. Let's move on. Let's mention guys. We have a new pope. We got an American pope from Chicago. Now, I have to ask you, Matt. Will the existence of God be proven if Chicago Fire win the MLS Cup now?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I guess that's what that would mean.
I don't think that's even a heavy. We don't have to think about that too
long.
I'd say so.
Do we think that the Pope is a Chicago Fire fan? Do you think he has been to a Chicago Fire game?
Specifically, a team called the Fire is a funny team for the Pope to root for.
I mean, my assumption is that he's not been to a game, because that would mean that there would have been someone at the stadium for a Chicago Fire game, which is in itself unlikely.
You know what might be even worse? Because many people went back in time to Chicago White Sox games and found, the new Pope Bob, in the crowd at Chicago White Sox games. And in my head, I was like, well, maybe we could find him in a crowd at a Chicago Fire game. Then it occurred to me that nobody probably even knows the Chicago Fire are, so they're not checking that.
Yeah.
They didn't even consider that.
And it's basically just the opposite of it'd just be the opposite, or really, really easy. Where's Waldo?
The one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, Pope Francis, I was going to say the late great, but I really don't know enough about popes. The late Pope Francis, he was Argentinian. He must have been a soccer fan. Coach Pope Bob was, a disciple of Pope Francis. So maybe they talked about soccer,
I think another thing that's interesting is, like, why would you pick if there's 13 guys that come before you, you really want to be who wants to be the 14th of something? Like, who would it, like you don't want to be original? Why do you want to go out and do again? Like, similar. Yeah. Like, why do you want to go out and do 7-0? Like, it's already happened before.
Christ.
Why do you want to do that? Let's move on from the Chicago Fire.
There's a lot of bad juju you're throwing out here, man. I'm going to the Hudson River Derby later today. You're throwing out some bad vibes, man.
Bad energy.
I mean, it could happen. I don't know. Maybe it will happen for a third time.
It could not happen.
Everyone's picking stuff that's already happened before, so it's like, might as well.
You mean I'm gonna buy you? If you keep doing, I'm gonna buy you an opening night ticket to Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ sequel, and I'm gonna make you watch the sequel to the Passion of the Christ.
Now, what would be especially funny is if you bought me 7 tickets. If you bought me 7 tickets to,
I'll buy you 12 for the 12 apostles.
All right,
12 for the 14 popes.
Speaking of apostles,
that's a show I want to see. The 14.
Speaking of apostles, David Beckham was in the comments of
my God,
Inter Miami's after Inter Miami's loss to to Minnesota United.
This is
Minnesota
why
United.
PR tweet for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is
Minnesota
it?
United
Sorry, I have 5 minutes.
scoring 4 unanswered goals. It was Miami who scored first, and was it? I think it was it Messi who scored. I think it was Messi who scored that goal, but it doesn't matter. And then Minnesota after this game posting Pink Phony Club, and
Which is
David
great.
Beckham
Which is
not
good.
having any of it and doing what you should never do is go into the comment section. And what you should really, really never do is comment in the comment section. How bad a look is this for David Beckham, Ethan?
I personally think this is like a really embarrassing look. I mean, I
That's
remember obviously a couple big soccer pages posted about it because David Beckham is David Beckham. I remember seeing the comments being like, "Yeah, David Beckham, like show them respect, like tell them what's up." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? He's beefing with like a 22-year-old social media hire. I don't want to say intern because it's probably not an intern. Social media admin. That's the word I'm looking for.
Club. It's a professional club.
I just think this is kind of embarrassing. Like, are you really getting offended by Pink Phony Club? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good
Chapel
burn.
Roan bit. Like, it's
I know. Like, it's a good. You can't be in somebody's comment being like, "Hey, keep the respect." Like, it's like, shut the. What are you talking about?
No,
They
but it
made
was
a
even worse
joke.
than that. He was like win with grace or something, or like
Right?
be-
Yeah.
It was
he
like such
when
embarrassing.
has Miami ever won with grace?
Oh my God, Suarez is pushing a guy is pushing the keeper
Multiple
into the net
times.
every other game.
Multiple times Suarez has pushed someone into the net.
If you say win with grace anywhere but a youth game, like you're embarrassing. And if you say it at a youth game, you're probably still embarrassing yourself. But maybe the other team is being kind of an asshole.
Oh yeah, this is what ridiculous. He said, "Show a little respect, be elegant, and try."
Oh yeah, that's what happened. What happened to Ethan?
David Beckham is watching it and removed him from the stream.
Removed him.
Couldn't have any of that. Here, Ethan's back. David Beckham booted you.
Click on the tab, and then I accidentally X'd out the tab. So I kicked myself out.
That's
that's David Beckham's people. He has those times. But you for how much like Inter Miami gets talked about with MLS, like and like how much he puts into that, you cannot be making these comments like and expect that you're not going to get found on.
It doesn't even matter how much money you're putting in. You can't make these comments about professional soccer. Like no Instagram account is obligated to be elegant in triumph.
Especially after you lose 4-0. Like you just want to forget about those games. You move on. Don't go talking to the fans about this. Like when the Sounders lose, and I mean when the Sounders lose 4 games, lose by 4 goals, it's brutal. And usually, when this happens, those games are not fun to watch, and you just want to forget about those. And I have to stop myself from going to read, from going on Facebook to the Sounders Facebook fans that I'm in and seeing fans claim that we need to sell the team and that ownership needs to go away after in the Sounders case, we've been undefeated for like 5 games straight. Like that's the thing also about Inter Miami. Like they are still around the top of the table. Like there is not like this is the other thing. Like they're just fine. So just like, bro, what we doing?
I don't know if they're fine though. Like their underlying numbers are like bad. They're like
yes. They still have a terrible defense, but this is MLS, and with how bad the Eastern Conference is, they will make the playoffs still. Like even with their defense being so bad and them having a coach who has no idea what he's doing, they will still make the playoffs. unlike Columbus, who even though they are neck and neck up in first and second, they will miss the playoffs. I will stick by that.
I will
Ethan,
say
what do
a
you-
play-in
yeah.
team in the Eastern Conference just won 7-0. So it can't be that bad.
Yeah, I
Ethan,
mean,
any other thoughts
anything
about
can
mine?
happen in
Yeah.
the MLS. You know, you really never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Moving away from MLS briefly so last week we spent a lot of time talking about the Champions League and the Europa League, and it just happened. We have gotten as Connor Donovan has dubbed it, the Derby de la Chette, as Spurs will be playing Manchester United in the Europa League Final in Bilbao.
That's great.
And I have beef with UEFA because this game is at 3 p.m. Eastern, which means it is at 12 p.m. Pacific on a Wednesday.
Oh,
Tournament final on a Wednesday. What the fuck are we doing?
are you going to be at work, or are you just protesting it in general?
Am I going to? I don't know. Are most people with jobs at work at 12 p.m. on a Wednesday?
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, I think so. What are we doing here? Especially come on, UEFA. It's terrible scheduling for anywhere, but come on. You see that Spurs especially are in the final, and we still don't have a trophy. See that and be like, okay, guys, we gotta at least move it to Friday at least. All right. What are we doing? I'm incredibly pissed off about that, especially since I'm feeling pretty good going into this game, despite the fact that Kulusevski and James Madison will not be
Goodbye.
available for this game. Because it's still Manchester United. We've put everything into this. Still, this matchup is still really funny that it is 16th versus 17th, and that one of these teams will be in the Champions League last year. It's just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Matt, what's your prediction for this final?
I'm gonna go Tottenham remain trophyless.
I think
All
that's
right,
probably
Ethan, what's your pick? Yeah.
I think I have to agree, unfortunately. I don't want.
All right, guys, welcome to the Nat Show. The other host will no longer be on the show now.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go.
I guess we're gonna not talk about the Europa League anymore since I don't like where this is going. So let's talk about the Champions League final. We were
when is
we
that?
all
Dead wrong.
Is
we
that
were
next
all
weekend?
shocked. That game is on a weekend. I think that's in two. I think it's in 2 weekends. I don't.
May 31st.
Where is the final?
May 31st.
Munich.
It's in
It's
Allianz
It's
Arena.
at Harry Kane could have played in the final in his home stadium. Didn't happen. We said last week we were predicting that Barcelona would go through. We said that not Inter Miami.
I picked
Inter
Arsenal.
Milan was talented, but we ended up picking Barcelona.
Yeah.
So the final is now Inter Milan versus PSG. What do you guys, Matt? What's your prediction for this one?
This is hard.
It is hard.
I mean, PSG are so good, and they've been so good this year.
Does PSG get over the line this year? I know that they have trophies, but they're a team. They're basically trophyless in the same. That's the funny thing about them, since they've just been trying every year to try to get this, and they can't. It's not hard to win League One. I know Pochettino didn't do it, but it's not hard to win League One.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Inter. I think they played a really, really good game against Barca, and a really good 2 games
all
against
the droughts.
Barca.
All
And maybe
the droughts,
PSG.
man.
I mean, maybe PSG had like a cleaner win against Arsenal, and that should be taken into account. But I don't know. Inter Miami played a hell of a game against a Barca team that's really hot.
Yeah.
Inter Miami.
Did I say Inter Miami?
I think you did say Inter Miami.
That's fine.
I mean, they are the
That's
best
the next
team
stop after the Club World Cup.
They are the best team in the world. Landon Donovan did say this week that Inter Miami is going to win the Club World Cup. So you know they're the best team. Who's your pick for the Champions League final, Ethan?
The thing is, I've never liked PSG. I've never liked PSG. First summer I got into soccer, summer of the 2014 World Cup. I joined the soccer tournament at my sleepaway camp. And we made it to the finals. And the team that beat us in the final was called Pirates Saint-Germain, because it was a themed tournament.
I got you.
And ever since that moment, I've hated PSG.
That's a great name.
I've hated PSG ever since that moment. So I really don't want PSG to win, but I kind of think they're going to. Inter are a great team. Yeah. I love Dumfries. I think Dumfries is a really great player.
Hard agree, yeah. He's so much fun awesome to watch.
But I don't know, Dembele, Doué, is that what that guy's name is? Doué or something like that. Nuno Mendes, Donnarumma. I think they're going to be really hard to beat.
Hakimi.
Yeah, Hakimi.
Yeah, Hakimi is one of the best in the whole world.
He's just so talented. My prediction for this game is either going to be, I think if PSG wins, then PSG will win like 3-0. If Inter Milan wins, it will be like 1-0.
Oh, really?
Or it could be, maybe it could be. Yeah, I don't think it will be. I don't think there will be lots of goals. I think it will be a lot tighter if Inter Milan wins. I think they will. I think they will defend first. That's the thing about finals. There's there's not usually a lot of goals. Sometimes we've seen that sometimes in the Champions League, but that Juventus Real Madrid game. Outlier. I don't think there's going to be lots of goals.
Final.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go PSG, though. I think it's more likely that the PSG they have just so much speed, and they will be able to break down Inter Milan. All right, let's move on. We got a lot of MLS action to talk about. Let's go back to talk about actually, before we talk about MLS, let's talk about the U.S. Open Cup. Then we'll do all of MLS. U.S. Open Cup recap. This happened during the week, last week, is the round that the MLS teams entered. Let's start with Nashville. Nashville was playing Chattanooga. The Chattanooga Red Wolves, and Nashville is the only team of our teams that is moving on. They advanced 1-0. Matt, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, heavily rotated team. Josh Bauer scores. I like Josh Bauer. I like when he scores. He's done it strangely a lot this season for a center back. You probably want Nashville to win this game by more than 1 goal. I don't know if it's an encouraging result, but it is a result. And it was with a heavily rotated team. And it's in a run of results that sort of makes, like, 1 goal wins are much better stacked up than they are in isolation. And Nashville's had a couple of them in a row. And it sort of, I think, indicates poise more than anything. Poise and professional, winning these games professionally, professional results. And yeah, I think that's the optimistic way to look at it. If someone were to say you should beat Chattanooga by more than 1 goal, I'm going to say probably. But I think you can't look at this game in a vacuum. This is a rotated squad, and it's in a run of good results on either
Nashville
side of it.
is sneaky good right now. Definitely the most having the being the most consistent and then most solid team out of our teams right now. I'll talk about the MLS games here in a second. Let's move on to NYCFC, who lost 1-0 to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the Hounds as they go by now. Ethan,
yeah, look, we don't need to talk about this game very
Yeah.
much. I think NYCFC have a really bad history in the Open Cup, not taking to the tournament very seriously. And I think this game was an issue of not taking it 100% seriously, and also just a lack of squad depth, which we're really struggling with right now. With each week, it's becoming more and more apparent that Brad Sims and David Lee have not done enough to get more players in the last couple of windows. And I feel bad for Pascal Janssen because the results of his team are suffering because of it, and it's not really his fault. But yeah, not great. It was kind of one of those things where when we weren't winning like 2-0, against this lower league team, like by halftime, I was kind of like, we might lose this game. And then it's a corner in the last minute, really poor marking from Bakrar and Tavon Gray. And it's a good header, but yeah, just a bad history in the Open Cup. Just kind of want to wash my hands of this game.
you say that they're not taking it seriously, but then people like Tavon Gray and Barraza and Bakrar, they all started this game. Like, these guys should still be able to get the job done against the Hounds. I guess this shows, man, this is why they're not starting if they're not going to be able to get these results. Because, I do wonder, again, this tournament is easier to win than the Leagues Cup, even though it's not trying to say that the Leagues Cup not trying to praise the Leagues Cup, obviously, by saying that.
Yeah.
It gets you into the Champions League still. Like, take this tournament seriously. And
I agree.
as we get into the Sounders, again, it should be up to the coach. Like, that's the thing. It's annoying if the coach don't take it seriously. It should be the coach's decision about who's going to play in these games. And they should be getting the blame, as NYCFC is getting in this case, instead of MLS, who telling teams that you have to enter your second team. Sounders and the Defiance, after three wins in the U.S. Open Cup so far, they fell to the Portland Timbers first team. Really a lose-lose situation for the Timbers going into this game. It's like, if you win this game, it's like you should have won this game because you're the MLS side. And if you lose this game, it's like, bro, you lost to the Sounders second team. You suck. So it's really like there's no way to go. But obviously the players, no matter who's stepping on the field, are going to try to win. The players that they ended up playing was a lot of MLS veterans. Not many people who are starting. They did start Crepeau, their starting goalkeeper, and they started a couple players. But most of these guys are a lot of people who have been with the team for a while or have been in the league for a while. So it was a strong team. And in times of this game, the Defiance were controlling the game. They competed, and the Defiance put themselves in a chance, and they had chances to win this game. Portland scores first after a foul, after a defender runs into Andrew Thomas, and this is 100% a foul, and the referee doesn't call this. If there's VAR, this is 100% getting overturned. This call was absolutely terrible. But without VAR, there's nothing you can do. That's how Portland gets their first goal. Defiance scores 2 goals right after halftime. So the Defiance have the lead, 2-1. Then in like the 78th minute, Portland would score again, and Portland during late on in the game, their physicality is showing and working to their advantage. They score a header goal. And then in stoppage time, Portland gets a penalty. It is 100% a penalty. There is a big shirt pull by, I believe it was Georgie Manungu, who I think Georgie Manungu should be starting every Sounders games right now because no one can defend him. Yeah. Said that a lot. But I was okay that he did play in this game because he's one of the players who's eligible, so that was good. It's 100% a penalty. Like, I can't argue that the ref got that wrong. The fans were unhappy, but that is 100% a penalty. And the fact that, and so even after that, so the penalty is converted, it's 3-2. Sounders get on a corner kick attempt. Andrew Thomas comes up, wins the header off the corner kick, while going over the back of a player, which he's winning the ball. That should not be a foul. I don't think it was actually called a foul. That ball ends up getting cleared. Sounders are supposed to get another corner kick, and the ref ended the game. The refereeing in this game was not good. He gets the penalty right. That's the only thing that I will give him props for, like, really getting right. Besides that, the refereeing was atrocious. Different night. With how good the Defiance was, like, they could have advanced past Portland. And Portland knows that they were very, very close to being embarrassed because they only this game was going to extra time if not for a really big brain dead play that gives away a penalty. This game should have been in extra time for sure. So it's really unfortunate for the Defiance who had this magical run. Especially when we actually in the first round, the Defiance almost should have 10 minutes into their U.S. Open Cup life. They could have been down a man because a forward because the amateur team that they were playing scored a free kick, and that play should have been a red card. It was only a yellow card. So they should have been losing 1-0 to an amateur side 10 minutes into this tournament. And instead, they end up going out to an MLS side. It just shows the main takeaway that we have to take from this is that the Sounders Academy is really fucking good. And they're leading MLS Next Pro right now. We just signed Jose De Rosario of Dwayne De Rosario's son. He gets his first start in this past Sounders game. The Sounders Academy and the Sounder and Tacoma Defiance is one of the top academies in the league, so we have to be proud about that. Guys, any other thoughts on the U.S. Open Cup? There is only, I think there's only, this year it's pretty much all MLS teams have advanced. Nashville will play their second game in the tournament against Orlando this Wednesday. Matt, how are you feeling about that game?
I feel good. I mean, I've sort of said this for several weeks now, but like Nashville are good. Like, and I feel in a way I haven't felt basically my entire time as a fan of Nashville. Damn. I feel good about every single game we go into and every single stadium we walk into. And I feel good looking at our 11 versus anyone else's 11 in the entire league.
There is no reason why Nashville should – I think Nashville should 100% be playing a starting lineup
all
for
in.
this game against
All in on the Open
Orlando.
Cup. Why not?
They're playing DC today. There is no reason to
rest
start
players.
people
Well,
to
now-
start players against DC
I will say they
at
went.
home.
They went
home.
weekend Wednesday. Like there might even like it might be like rotate against DC, and you still like have to like not exactly field your
Right.
ideal 11. Like it's been a
Mhm.
run of games for Nashville.
Yeah.
First
yeah.
big weekend for
NYCFC
everyone, but
too,
still, it's
because
DC.
MLS is broken.
Call people. Go on, Ethan.
No, the MLS schedule is just broken. Same thing, like they just announced that there's going to be like a 10-day transfer window for teams in the Club World Cup in June. Like just weird shit.
Yeah.
Really weird shit.
I mean, that's a whole different conversation. I don't know how much that will actually, if there will actually be anything that happens in that window, since Club World Cup teams like people have said like, oh, is Cristiano Ronaldo going to sign for Inter Miami for just this tournament? That's not going to happen.
That would be so stupid. Why would that
It's
happen?
not going to happen. I don't think there's
so
any
this
big
is-
players who's actually going to sign, who that is actually going to happen for.
This is
But again,
Nashville's schedule, by the way. They went Saturday, May 3rd, and then they went a Tuesday game, so a midweek game, and then a weekend game Saturday, May 10th, a Wednesday game against the Red Bulls, today against DC United, this Wednesday against Orlando, Saturday against Toronto, midweek against Columbus, Saturday against NYCFC, and then they get the bye week before they play Chicago 2 weeks after that. So this is like a true month-long run of like weekend, midweek.
But you've had a lot more home games than say like the Sounders, who are about to play our third away game in a row right now. Like the scheduling of how like it's not even like oh, you go to the East Coast and you're gonna play one East Coast team and then you're gonna play another one before you head back. Like just the MLS scheduling continues to make absolutely no sense.
It is one of the hardest leagues to schedule for in the entire world, with the size of the United States and the amount.
It is big, but it also could be it could be way better, and they could also try to, and they could also explain, if they're going to do it this way, they should explain their thinking so much. There's so much about MLS that they just choose to not tell the fans because they're like, they don't want to explain that their reasoning is stupid. Like we're never ever going to find out how they decide the league's cup groups because they know that it makes no sense. We're never going to find out how they decide which teams from the other conference are going to play. And if it's going to be a home or away game. They say you would think it alternates, but that's not actually the case. This is MLS, and they don't explain lots of stuff. That
should be the tagline. This is MLS, and we don't explain anything.
You can literally say that about every MLS. The referees talk now, but they still don't explain anything. So now we're going to try to explain MLS and get into talking about the league games. So now going back to our team's first games 2 weekends ago. Nashville was playing Atlanta. This game was in Atlanta. Atlanta continues to be bad. Anything you want to add to what you've already been saying about Nashville, Matt, for that game?
Yeah, Nashville tie at Atlanta. You want a better result, but this is sort of the kind of results you get on the road in MLS. It's the league in the world where the home and away splits are the most dramatic in the entire world of soccer, and this is the kind of thing that happens. The team plays down to the team that's currently hosting, and Nashville did that. A lot of times when Nashville haven't gotten a result, I've been on the side of like they deserved one here because they play really, really good soccer. This is not one of those games. I think maybe even Atlanta deserved this one, but yeah, this is fine. Nashville get a point on the road in something of a rivalry game, and I think you just have to take that.
That was what I wanted to add on. I don't know why this game isn't happening this week. Atlanta's playing Philadelphia this week, which, by the way, you can watch that game on EA Sports FC Mobile, because sure. But they're playing Philadelphia and Nashville, as we've been saying. They're playing DC. Like, there's literally no reason why Atlanta couldn't have played Nashville this week. Again, no schedule. Doesn't make sense. Sounders playing St. Louis, and we got back at them after earlier in the season. Sounders lost 1-0 off of a free kick. St. Louis would score first. They would score first in this game with a penalty kick. It's a light penalty, but correct calls. Then the Sounders, like pretty soon after that, would get a penalty of their own. First penalty kick awarded for the Sounders. Albert Rusnak scores, and it's 1-1. And then the Sounders would start piling it on. Obed Vargas would score. Rothrock would score, and Danny Musovsky would score, continuing his goal streak. And but the Sounders should have had more. The Sounders had on a shot that was taken. The VAR sends the referee to the monitor because he sees a handball. The referee goes over after like 2 minutes. He goes and looks at the monitor for an additional minute. And I will say, if you look at something for that long, you can't change the call. But this ref is absolutely stupid. This is 100% a penalty kick. His arm is completely straight out. Matt, what is your take on this referee decision, which Pro has later admitted was a bad call and this should have been a penalty?
Yeah, it's a penalty. Arm is in an unnatural position. I think in general, we should do something about the handball rule to make it more black and white, because it's so subjective. Like the rule about if there's a deflection, the rule about if it hits another part of your body first, the rule about what is an unnatural position, the
on
rule
goals,
about
if it touches the hand at any point leading up to a goal, then they call it back. Like all this stuff. Like, why do we have this? The rule should just be, no matter what, even if your hand, I feel like even if your hand is deceptive, only if your hand is like literally, like if your
if it doesn't make your body
it.
any bigger. Like if it doesn't make your body any bigger at all, even if it's at your side, it's probably still a handball.
Only if your hand is if the ball literally was going to hit your chest. That's literally the only time. Besides that, no matter what, I don't care if it's in a natural position or an unnatural position. Like if for all those plays where someone's sliding and like their hand touches the ball, and they'll be like, oh, they're trying to catch themselves. That's a handball. It should just be, if it hits your hand, it is a handball, and if you are in the box, it's a penalty. Like some might say we're going to have too many penalties, or people are going to start kicking the ball up into people's head. If you can do that, do that. It's going to work for both teams. Just every time if the ball touches your hand, it's a handball, and that's called.
I don't know if I agree with that ruling. I just think we should make it significantly more concise and clear what a handball is. I don't know what the exact answer is. I just hate how subjective the call is now.
It will be better if it's just every time it hits the hand, you call it. End of discussion. Like there are,
like sleeve
we got
down.
we
anything
got
sleeve
board
down.
games. We got board games where like there are annoying rules in board games, and there's a lot of times
What a
where
what
like
a crazy.
there are annoying rules, but they are rules, and like if it happens, you just have to be like, well, it happened. Those are the rules. Ethan, what's your take on this play and the handball rule?
The way I like to think about handballs is that if it really if it benefits if it benefits somebody in the play, like if somebody if an attacker, if the ball hits an attacker on the arm and that leads the attacker to control the ball and move forward and have a shot at goal, I think that's a handball that should not be given. That's a called handball because it's giving him an unfair advantage. And the same goes with a defender. Like if a cross is coming in and it hits a defender's arm, and it's the kind of thing where like if it's in the box, it's an unfair advantage. The defender making themselves larger to defend this cross. It should be a penalty. It should be a handball. The handball rule gets really murky these days, especially I think in England. I feel like the handball rule there is really wishy-washy, as they would say, wishy-washy.
Well, they'll call goals back for a handball that happened like 20 seconds before a goal because they're like was in the build-up, which is just stupid.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like
I do think the rule is a little more clear-cut in America, but it's still not as clear-cut as it could be.
I like what you're saying about. I do like what you're saying about like.
I think that's so subjective. I think
but still,
in an ideal world, if you can 100% of the time identify when a handball creates an advantage, then I agree. But I think it's so hard. Like there's so many times like, was this an advantage? Like, did the ball moving backwards actually set up the shot? Did the ball moving forwards actually play to the defender's advantage? Like what is an advantage? I don't know.
Again, this just continues to the belief. I continue to believe that we need a time limit on VAR. If you look at the monitor and you can't make the decision for 10 seconds, then you can't change the call. I respect that the referee didn't think it was a penalty, and he looked at it for a really, really long time, so you can't change your mind after that. But this is a terrible call, and this is obviously a handball. But what Ethan brings up is a good transition to what happened. Another incident that happened in the Sounders' next game in Houston. Sounders played the majority of this game up a man because center back who had scored for Houston to equalize the game and make the game 1-1. He was sent off after on a long ball played over the top towards Danny Musovski. He is judged to handle the ball, and the referee immediately pointed to the penalty spot and handed out the red card for dog. So they go to VAR to see that it was outside of the box, and so the decision is red card and red card and a free kick. Now, every time when I was reading about this play, since I didn't watch this game live, reading about this play, people are like, oh, this is a clear red card, super obvious. It's dog so. Watching it back, I do not think this is the right call. I think a red card here is extremely harsh because the ball is just bouncing randomly, and I don't actually think Danny Musovski has it like after the handball happens, he doesn't have or even before that. I don't think he's enough behind the defender, and both players are touching each other enough that it feels like I don't think it's that big. It's not that big of a clear chance. So I
Which
think
play
the
is this?
in the Danny Musovsky red card in the versus Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this should have been a yellow card. Because like when people say obvious dog show, like if it's a wave, if Dan Musovsky was gonna be running into the box and his hand was like straight out, that would be an obvious red card. But like both players are grabbing and like both players have both hands on each other and the ball basically it kind of looks like the ball lands like in the center of them while they're like wrapped around each other. So with that, like it's gonna be hard for them to break apart to then make a play. So the red card there is especially harsh. But happy the Sounders. I'm happy it worked out in the Sounders' favor, and Albert Rusnak would score 2 other goals. In that, Daniel Musovsky would score a goal after a mistake from Houston, and that would be 5 games straight with a goal for Danny Musovsky, who is again he shouldn't be. He is not good enough to be the Sounders starting forward, but when he scores, I will take it. Matt, do you have any thoughts on this play? Were you able to find it?
I think I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. Do you agree with the red card call?
1 second. Oh wait, where is the red card?
I wouldn't put it past
it.
It's really tough. Like it also the angles on this are also terrible. This being the case, while Matt's looking at that specific play, so I just brought up Danny Musovsky, and Danny Musovsky.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
Exactly, that's what I said. Yeah. Anything else you want to share, Matt?
No, that's harsh. That's a harsh red card. That's tough.
It's a hard one to describe, but do you think I was doing a pretty good job at describing that, right? Like it's like they're just both grabbing. Like that's not. Yeah, I don't think that's giving us as a red card if the referee didn't give a red card in the first place. I don't know if that's part of it because he gives a red card originally, and then they go to VAR to check to see if it's a penalty. But I think if he calls a free kick and a yellow card, they're not looking at this for random conduct or dog show. MLS pro referees continue to be weird. But Ethan, I had a question for you about Danny Musovsky. So Danny Musovsky, 5 goals in his last 5 games. Doesn't get the start for the Sounders LAFC game. How Sounders definitely trying to rest or putting more playing more. We're going to play more of the first team in this game against the Timbers today.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on voluntarily breaking Danny Musovsky's scoring streak?
I wouldn't do it. I mean, I feel like if somebody's scoring, you got to play them. You know, I just feel like that's how it is.
He still played like 30 minutes in this game.
You want to field your best lineup. You know, I mean, that's how I feel. Like, you know, I come on here every week and I complain about Hannes Wolf. But when he scores, you know, 2 games in a row, like he did a little earlier in the season, I'm not going to ask for him to be benched because that's kind of silly. If a player is scoring, and really, even if they're shit and they still score, like I feel like you still have to play them. It's infuriating, but but you should
Yeah.
play them. And I know
Yeah.
you're not a big fan of Danny Musovski.
Yeah, he makes it. He's just not an MLS. He's just not an MLS starter.
Right. Yeah.
He's
But
just
if he's scoring, I feel like you got to start him.
Yeah,
Because
and
who else
especially
is scoring
since
for the
he's
Sounders
gonna.
right now?
Yeah, especially he's gonna play when he's gonna. When there's a good chance he's gonna play somewhat of the game, some amount of the game, like starting from the beginning, and then let. And yeah, it's nice to give Ozzy a start, but like, and Ozzy, not to say that Ozzy wasn't. Ozzy was good for what he was able to do in this game. He won a lot of headers. He was doing a good job at being a big center forward, which is he did, which is I think he actually did that better than Musovski did. But yeah, I would have liked to see Musovski score start this game to at least have that. It's all. I mean, it's LAFC. It's always going to be tough to score against them. Like the streak was always gonna be in a rough place. Matt, what are your thoughts on this coaching decision?
Strange. Goals are like the ever elusive thing in soccer, and sometimes you can identify how they're coming, and sometimes you can't. And you just let the hot player. You go with the hot hand. I mean, it's not. It's like a hockey goalie or a baseball pitcher. Like sometimes you're just on.
Yeah, sometimes you're hot.
And I mean, this is a midweek game, so it's Saturday, midweek Saturday, and so like not starting him, playing him 30 minutes, and then getting him for the full. Like I get that decision, so I don't think this is that big of a deal.
So this is again, it's MLS decision making no sense to make LAFC versus the Sounders be a midweek game instead of being a weekend Sunday night soccer game. It's absolutely crazy. I do kind of like that the Sounders disrespected LAFC by putting out the lineup that they did.
That's one way to look at it.
Like that's the way I have to look at it. The Sounders were not good in this game. It's put a little more pressure on going to Portland with how good the Sounders have been playing really before this game. With how good we'd been playing before this game and getting the win in Houston during this 3-game stretch, like it'll be so much easier to move past this game if we beat the Timbers, and I feel pretty good about us being able to do that. We looked really good against Houston, especially Ryan Kent. Got his first start, got another assist. I'm just in love with this guy. He's there. He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. So I'm very excited about him moving forward. I expect the Sounders to play the exact same lineup that we played against Houston. We'll see. Possible that Pedro could still start against Portland. Pedro, we're seeing bright sparks from him. And there were a couple players who I wanted to give shout outs to for the LAFC game. Kalani Kosarenzi, I thought he played really, really well. He had a goal line clearance in this game, stopping the LAFC from scoring 5. So that's another thing. That's another thing is that they scored 5 on us last time. You're muted, Matt, if you're trying to say something. They scored 5. We scored 5 on them.
I'll bite my tongue actually.
In the earlier in the earlier game versus them. So we can hold our hands up that they couldn't get to 5. The goal that was called, they scored 1, but they did score a 5th, but that was offsides. It was definitely the correct call. Kosarenzi was good. Leyva had moments where he was good. But he did also give away the ball. Someone who was really bad in this game was Jesus Ferreira. Jesus Ferreira, starting the game after coming back from injury, he literally did nothing in the first half. It was hard to remember he was actually on the field. He has not been good. He needs to sit, he's gotten a couple assists, but of late, right before he got injured and then coming back, this is not what you need to see from him. Yes, he's coming back from injury, but still his endurance is shit. He is 24 years old. He should not be only able to play 60 minutes. That is pathetic. He should not be looking this tired. At the beginning of the season, when there was all this press about, Jesus Ferreira coming to the Sounders, that's a great pickup for the Sounders. He's going to score a lot of goals. And me and other Sounders fans were like, he was not good last year. I feel very vindicated this is exactly what I expected. I hope that it doesn't continue because he is here for the year for sure. So hopefully he can actually score a goal this year because he was shit. He was shit, and they need to stop during broadcast saying he was a U.S. international because that should have never have happened in the first place. And he is, every time they say that with his performance, it just makes him seem even worse because he was not good in this last game for the Sounders, and he needs to step it up. 100%. I can't wait. Final takeaway from this game is that I can't wait to have Morris back. Hopefully he can get back onto the field soon. Any predictions, guys, for this game against the Timbers, as the Sounders will play mostly their starting lineup? Can the Sounders go into Portland and get a victory? Matt?
Absolutely. Seattle have looked really good this year.
Our second team almost beat the first team.
But you can throw that result away. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
They should win. Seattle should win. Seattle are better than Portland.
Yeah, the Timbers are in fourth place right now, but I don't buy that. And also, so that's another thing. The Sounders will be equal on points as the Timbers if they win this game. Actually, they will have the exact same lineup if the Timbers win. If the Sounders win this game, be 6-4-4. Yes. So it's a fun one. That game is late tonight. Should be.
I just realized
an exciting one.
Seattle has a goal differential of 2. How did that happen?
They're not scoring a lot of goals, but they're also not conceding well with LAFC.
A lot of goals.
It's really on the set pieces that we're letting in goals.
Where are these games?
It's our set piece. We're letting in a lot of goals in set pieces this year. Our defense has not been as good as it was last year. This is for sure. When we had the best defense in the league. Still a lot of the same people, but yeah. All right, let's talk about Nashville's game against DC, or let's all of the Nashville's midweek game against Charlotte, beating Charlotte 2-1. Nashville should feel very, very good about this result, and now they're going to go play DC. What do you want to tell us from this game against Charlotte, Matt?
Yeah. So Nashville, obviously Walker Zimmerman is still out. He's had a big head injury. He got knocked out on the field. It was very scary. And that happened against Charlotte. And you could kind of tell that Nashville brought that into this game with the intensity. And sort of like as we've gone through the season, all these new additions Nashville have made have like really flourished. And like each one of them is sort of taking their turn to be like a really, really fun player to watch. In the beginning of the season, it was Kasim, who's sort of taken a backseat to Schaffelberg at this point, but Schaffelberg's playing wonderful. Andy Nahar is who just he from the outside back position keeps getting assist after assist after assist. He was matched up one-on-one with Zaha for a lot of this game. And I mean, there's a point at the end of this game where Zaha like shoves him and it just escalates. And like, I think whenever you have an outside back and a winger sort of going at it, the outside back is like won that matchup because that's where the frustration comes from. Andy Nahar has been fantastic this season. One of our best players, one of the best outside backs in MLS. And yeah, I want to give him his flowers for this one because Zaha's a good player, and he both locked him up and unlocked some of Charlotte going forward. So I want to give him his flowers. And then I also did we talk much about? I feel like there was another game because we've talked about Chicago. Did we talked about Chattanooga? Oh, and then going forward. So
DC.
they beat Charlotte at home. Well, no, and then the Red Bulls midweek.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Red Bulls.
The Red Bulls coming off of a 7-0 win, go to Nashville. Nashville take care of business, beat them 2-1. And now we're talking about a streak of on the road, a tie against Atlanta, a win with a B team against Chattanooga, and then 2 1-0 wins against a good Charlotte team, and maybe not a good, but a hot New York Red Bulls team. And Nashville are getting professional results. They've won 5 straight at home. Those are wins, not losses. And
if there is a serious chance that Nashville can finish this weekend in second place in the Eastern Conference, if Cincinnati wins against Columbus and Atlanta beats Philadelphia, which seems likely with how Atlanta is playing this year. But still, they have the talent that could happen.
Yeah, and I think
Nashville should 100% BTC.
If you want to sort of get an idea of what's happened to Nashville, go watch their second goal against Red Bulls. They connect the ball with speed all the way from their half to the front. Rarely does anyone take more than 2 touches. It's a beautiful goal. It's a team goal. And it ends with Hani Mukhtar blasting it into the far bottom corner. And it's just emblematic of like what BJ Callahan has done to this team. And I truly, truly recommend watching that goal because like it's something that proves that Gary Smith's Nashville is something of the past, and BJ's Nashville is here, and there are going to be a presence in this league.
BJ Ball, it works. Yeah, they should 100% BTC. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I keep looking at our document and being like, wait, that game already happened, and it's just because NYCFC just played DC.
Yeah.
Somehow NYCFC didn't beat DC, but that's just how NYCFC has been recently. After losing to after the game against the Hounds, and right before that, they NYCFC did beat the league-leading Eastern Conference, but they also
it was a little extra,
and they lost to Montreal, which I don't actually think you should feel too bad about, Ethan. The fact that Montreal won that game meant that LA Galaxy is the only MLS team that hasn't won a game yet. So we thank you for taking that fall.
Right. No, I feel pretty bad about that game. But I actually didn't get to watch that game live because I was having a pre-graduation night dinner with my family. So I didn't really get to watch the game, which was unfortunate because I don't know if we've ever talked about this on our show. But NYCFC did make a signing. Signed a midfielder, Aidan O'Neill, from Standard Liège. He's an Australian, Brisbane-born midfielder. He's been in
not
the
as
City
cool as
football
Ryan
group
Kent.
family.
We have Patrick Yazbek, who scored a banger. You actually watch his goal too, because it hits the back of the net so hard it comes all the way out of the goal.
Yeah,
it looks like it hits the
that's
post.
fun when that happens.
it's an awesome goal.
Yeah. And so I only got to see O'Neal play when he came on against DC towards the end of the game. And I liked what I saw from him. I think we spent a couple million on him. We didn't break the bank or anything, but he seems like a very calm, authoritative presence in the midfield. Seems like a nice, straight shooting passer. And the NYCFC socials admin made sure that we learned that he has scored some bangers in the past. So I'll be interested to see if he gets the start today. I don't know if he will, but with Keaton Parks injured, I think it's very possible. Going back to the game against Cincinnati, I honestly think this is one of our best games of the season. We came out rip-roaring against Cincinnati. I don't know what was in the air in Cincinnati, in Queens that day. Actually, I do know what was in the air. It was rain, and I got soaked. Yeah, that was a wet game.
Me and Matt did not see this coming. I believe on the last show, me and Matt said, and Don all said that there was no way that Cincinnati was going to lose this game. So clearly we know nothing.
You know, the thing is, NYCFC should have scored, honestly, 4 or 5 goals this game. And it's ridiculous that we didn't score more. Obviously, Alonso Martinez had a penalty go off the post. He, the last couple of games, is having issues finding the back of the net, but hopefully that changes today. I still have full confidence in him, of course, but it's been rough the last couple of games. He's been trying really hard. But yeah, like I said, we just came out with so much energy, so much fire. And a fire that lasted for oh my God. At what point does this constitute as harassment? At what point can I get the legal folks involved? Where's the HR
That is
department?
funny. It's such a short headline; it almost looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
what are your thoughts?
I just want to say, if we lose 7-0 today, you're the first name on my note.
Good. Thank you. I'd be sad if that wasn't the case. So how are you feeling about the Hudson? If
I didn't kill myself. I don't know. It's tough, man. Similar to El Tráfico, and honestly, every rivalry, all these games. Anything can happen. The teams' past results do not matter. Famously, I remember being really excited going into the 7-0 game because NYCFC were in second place. We were having a great start to the season. Red Bulls were down in the dumps, and then obviously that happened. So really,
imagine being excited about a team that was starting Ned Grabavoy, Mix Discarud, and Josh Saunders. What a different time! What a different time!
You had to be excited for the players that you had, although I never liked Grabavoy. But
what a different time.
Yeah.
Chris Wingert.
Yo, shout out. God. Oh, man. Shout out to Chris Wingert, though. We made a short-lived Instagram account for our dog Zeke, who just passed away. Unfortunately, he was almost 15. But Chris Wingert, for whatever reason, followed that Instagram account. So shout out to Chris Wingert for that. He's a part of Zeke's legacy. So love you, Zeke. Love you, Chris Wingert. Yeah. So always kind of liked Chris Wingert for that. So I really don't know what to expect from this game because look, the Red Bulls destroy the Galaxy and then they go and lose to Nashville. Which is not a comment on Nashville's quality. It's just you would expect the team who wins that emphatically
to go win the next game.
Yeah. Matt, what's the secret? How do NYCFC beat them?
Okay, you know what? Here, let's talk tactics for a second. Let's talk some shop.
All right. Yeah. I'll tell Pascal.
So Nashville have played 2 games against Red Bulls this season, and BJ Callahan is committed to trying to play out of the back and have possession. New York Red Bulls are the energy drink team. They press up the field. They go hard at the center backs. They press the outside backs. They have a really, really good, really concise press. They're good at it. They're well coached, and they do it really hard. The way to beat that is you need 2 things. You need strong ball playing center backs. You need strong ball playing outside backs, and essentially you need people that can ping passes. And you either want to be able to make them respect you over the top enough to give you the space to play underneath. So Nashville beat them by having Schaffelberg and Jack Mayer and Andy Nahar. When you can ping a ball over the top and you have Schaffelberg's speed to threaten you, then all of a sudden you have to respect that enough to back off and let the other team play underneath. And you can't press in the same way you would as a full 10-man press if you have to respect that ball over the top. So I don't know if NYCFC has the same weapons Nashville has to create that. Andy Nahar is a special passer. Schaffelberg is a special speedster. But like, in order to play underneath their press, in order to build out of the back, you have to be able to make them respect your how dangerous you are on the break. New York Red Bulls are maybe the best pressing team in the league. They've done it the entire time they've been in the league. But it's not a strategy that's unbeatable, and they can get them really worn out. And if you can outpossess them, then you can really, really do damage.
Yeah, I mean, NYCFC have those ball-playing defenders. Our wingers are having some trouble. Julian Fernandez especially. He scored against Cincinnati, but he's been really frustrating. Just kind of making really odd decisions. Not really taking defenders on, not making the right passes in crucial moments. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. I would like to see Augustine Ojeda get a start today because he's quite a speedster. And I think we've been waiting for a moment from him this year where he can step up and score a goal this year. So I'm hoping maybe that could happen today.
I will say you can supplement speed with hold-up play. If you have a striker, like a real target man or someone who can hold the ball up, then you don't need to beat them over the top. You can beat them to that final level, and then someone with strong hold-up play can make that next pass. So if only
NYCFC had that.
It's less speed.
Well, hey, Martinez is not none of that. Martinez has an element. He has a hold-up element to his game.
He's more about speed, though.
It's less speed, and it's more of an outlet. You need to be able to turn the faucet and relieve the pressure. So it's not necessarily about going over the top. That's just one of the ways to to turn
the issue with Martinez is that getting in behind is one of his strengths, and I feel like MLS defenses have acknowledged that, and they've adapted to it now, and they've prepared for us to try and get Martinez in behind, which is why Martinez hasn't really been working the last couple of games. So we got to figure out something new to do with Martinez, I think.
Matt, what's your prediction for this game?
It's so hard. A team on Red Bull's run of form, like a 7-0 win and then a 2-1 loss, where they were I think significantly outplayed. I don't think they were really a 2-1 loss team. It's tough to say. NYCFC, I mean, they're right next to each other on the table. This is a fun one. I'm gonna go. Who's home?
It's at Citi Field.
Citi Field.
So no one.
Yeah, why not? Let's go NYCFC.
I'm nervous for this game because it might not happen, but the last Red Bull, the last Hudson River Derby at Citi Field, I got into somewhat of a fight with a Red Bull fan who was sitting near us. Verbal fight. So I'm a little nervous that maybe he and his family bought the same tickets and that we're going to be sitting near each other again. But I hope not, to be honest, because I don't need to do that today. I don't need that in my life right now, because who knows what happened.
Yeah, I actually think it's lucky. I actually think I actually think
Hey, you can't change
NYCFC
our
is gonna win.
banners. No, fuck that. No,
Whoa.
get out of here with that shit.
I actually think I actually think NYCFC is going to win this game. I think it's going to finish like 2-1. Everything that they have to do, everything that Matt has laid out, and yeah, I think if this game is at Red Bull Arena, I think this game would be the Red Bulls. I think I will give it to NYCFC though. But yeah, this one's a fascinating one, and I hope that NYCFC can turn it around because they were very fun to watch at the beginning of the season, and they've kind of quieted out recently. So hopefully that will change. Yeah, so we'll see what happens in that game. All right, that pretty much does it for this episode. So we did actually have a game of the week for the Wednesday games. I asked both of you guys to pick the game a winner in the Minnesota versus Houston game, and me and Ethan both picked Minnesota after they beat the Pink Phony Club. Matt stuck with H-Town, and it has paid off. And we look at the standings
we got to shout out Matt. We got to shout out Matt for this.
Uh-oh.
Matt has gotten the last 4 in a row after getting the first 9 wrong. He has now gotten 4 in a row. I believe the longest streak one of us has had is 6 in a row. So we'll see if he can get there with El Trafico. Again, me and Matt picked LAFC. Ethan picked the Galaxy. Ethan is in the lead of the Game of the Week competition with 5. I have 4, and Matt also has 4. We look at the Golden Boot race, and Ethan is also ahead, 35 goals. Matt is 27, and I have 29. Very, very close as our teams continue to show that there are a lot of people who have scored goals who did not get picked. So we'll see what happens in that. Any other thoughts about the rivalry week this week? Any matches that you're excited about that we didn't mention? We got the Florida matchup as Miami is playing Orlando. Colorado is playing Salt Lake. And we also got Hell is Real, Columbus versus Cincinnati. It is first versus third, or basically first versus second, because Philadelphia and Columbus have the same amount of points.
Yeah, that'd be a fun
which
game.
Which one of those 3 are you most excited for, Matt?
What was it?
Out of Miami, Orlando, Hell is Real, or Colorado RSL?
Oh, Hell is Real. The Hell is Real is like one of the best rivalries in MLS, and the 2 teams are really good. Didn't they release a best rivalries? I'm looking for this article right now.
They've done that, but it's always crap. It's crap. The Sounders Portland is the best rivalry. We have the longest history. It's the best one. It is definitely not El Trafico. These are still
5 biggest rivalries in MLS. All right, number 1, El Trafico. Number 2, Hell is Real. Number 3, Timber Seattle. Number 4, NYCFC New York. And then number 5 is Inter Miami Orlando City. I feel like
I don't know.
There really isn't a rivalry.
I feel like I agree with the top
Orlando.
4.
Yeah.
I agree with the top 4. I don't know what order it should be in.
I think the Hudson River Derby needs to be higher on that list. I know I'm biased,
all of those top 4 are.
I think Hell is Real should be 1,
really
and
good,
then 2
are
through
all
4.
Good in their own right.
I think Hell is Real should be 1, and then I don't really care what order you put 2 through 4 in between
Longevity,
El Trafico, Seattle, Portland, and Hudson River Derby.
Longevity should matter. Yes, El Trafico games are crazy.
Yeah.
I don't care. Okay, as the only person whose
yeah.
team is not in this, I think Hell is Real is 1, and I think 2 through 4, the order is arbitrary.
I think
between-
Nashville,
Kind of interchangeable.
And then I don't know what 5 should be, but I don't feel like it should
is
be.
interchangeable.
I don't think 5 should be Inter Miami Orlando.
Definitely
I
not.
think-
Inter Miami doesn't have a real rival yet.
I think, yeah, their rival is just every other MLS.
What about
team.
Nashville DC? How about Nashville DC?
No.
Is that a
For some
rivalry?
reason. No, but it's the game playing this week. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it
what
could
5
be.
should be. 5 is
I
get
think
ready.
Atlanta Nashville is more of a rivalry than Miami Orlando.
Yeah.
I know that it's not. I think we've talked about that. You guys have never played the game Ticket to Ride, but I think of the U.S. map as the Ticket to Ride board, and like the routes have like different names. There's one route that's only one train is Nashville Atlanta, and when I picture the U.S. map and when we have Nashville versus Atlanta matchups, I'm like, oh, it's the one train matchup. Like they're basically the same place. So I think that is a high up. But also, like, that being said, like the top 4 I think are pretty interchangeable.
I'd put Hell is Real on its own.
But besides that, like this is all geography. Like then we get into like pretty close after this. Like we gotta have LAFC versus Seattle. And this is a true rivalry because of what they stand for. And we also have some other big ones are I think RSL SKC is those teams have a lot of history. That's a good one. New York Red Bulls versus DC. That's the biggest. That's probably DC's biggest rival would be the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
This is all better. It's funny that Toronto.
There is NYC Philadelphia.
I don't think that compares to also Toronto Montreal, the game that's happening right now. Like the fact that that's not in the top 5 is kind of wild.
This is unrelated, but Crystal Palace did officially win the FA Cup, which is really cool.
Nice.
Shout out to Crystal
Man City
Palace.
Lost.
Yeah, FA Cup. So they're trophyless, right? Does that mean
Man City this year? I think so.
They didn't win they didn't win the Carabao Cup. The Carabao Cup was a smaller team. Okay, so Arsenal and Manchester City. Yes, that's right. It's Newcastle. That is right. Okay, we gotta. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's go watch Rivalry Week, everyone. It was. Hope everyone
some of the best MLS has to offer.
Hopefully, our teams can get wins this weekend. We will be back next week, Saturday, May 24th. We're starting a little earlier at 12 p.m. Eastern, since the Sounders are playing much earlier here in Seattle against FC Dallas. So you can try. Hopefully, we can wrap this up before then. Remember to also follow us on Twitter at WECB Football. Subscribe on YouTube at footballislife.wecb. Follow us on Instagram at footballislife.wecb. Contact the show at footballislife.wecb@gmail.com or at the website footballislife.net. Until next week,
football is live.
7-0.